Hi, you guys. Thanks so much for being here with me today. We are going to talk about goals today because I know every single time you do a program in self-development or physical and nutrition, you always start that program with something in mind that you want to achieve. There's a reason you're here, and it's because you have goals. So we're going to talk about how to make goals that are going to be lasting, that you're actually going to be able to achieve. So hang in with me here and we'll get going. Now, before I launch into that whole topic, I want you to look at the course and find where you see a worksheet. It's kind of here. Let me see if I can share my screen. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so it will look like this. It'll say SMART goals across the top, and then it will be blank where I have in the little sentences that will be blank because you're going to fill that in. So I want you to pull that up, maybe take a screenshot of it, and you can type things in on your phone on using, your photo editor on your phone or print it out. But do that now so that as I am explaining, you can be brainstorming and working on this sheet. It should only take you a few minutes to complete, and then you can save this idea and this knowledge to use for other goals. So today, what I want you to do is think of a goal using the things that we talk about today, and then find this goal that's going to be able to be achieved by the end of this program. So, this is kind of a short-term goal, but then after we're done here and you have figured out your SMART goal for this program, I want you to keep this in mind for down the road, like 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, and use this all the time. Anytime you want to go through goals, make sure that you use the concepts that we talk about today. Okay, so since I'm already on this page, I might as well just leave it and let's, oh, you know what? I don't want to jump into SMART goals yet. Before we jump into SMART goals, I'm going to talk about perspective. So often we make goals when we're talking about physical fitness or nutrition. I have a lot of clients who will make goals to lose weight. That makes sense. I get it. I've been there. I am there, but I want you to really think about that, because how we do anything is how we do everything. And if you're wanting to be less, if you're wanting to shrink, what does that mean for the rest of your life? How many times have you gone to your boss and said, I would actually like to make less. Can you give me less money? Or, when was the last time you said, I would like to have less options and choices? Or I would, anytime we're trying to have like a smaller and less than mindset, it really does flow through into the rest of your life, and it really affects your heart and your mind. So we are going to really focus when we do goals on being more. We want to expand. We want to take up more space in this world because we are badasses and we deserve to. Okay, so as you're making your goal for this program, I want you to think of ways that you can become more and just really bring out who you really are at your core, who that authentic person is, and bringing that out so that we can really take up more space. So instead of saying I want to lose 10 pounds, you could say your goal would be I want to be more physically fit, because that is more. You want to become better at something. So I want to become more physically fit, or I want to be able to do 5 pull-ups, or I want to lift more weight. I want to run faster or further. Does that make sense? So we're looking at goals that, when you lose weight, those goals will happen as well. Or when you do those goals, the weight loss will happen as well. But your focus really needs to be in a positive frame. So with that in mind, I'm going to share my screen again, and we will go to the SMART goals. So SMART goals, we just use the acronym SMART to remember specific pieces of the goal, that if we make sure that it has each of these pieces, then you're more likely to have this goal come to fruition. You'll actually be able to achieve this goal. So let's get started with S. So S is specific. We want to make sure that our goals are very specific. So you want to be thinking about what do you want to achieve? How are you going to achieve it? And why is it important to you? And then clearly define what that outcome will look like. So you're going to be very specific on what it looks like, what it tastes like, what it smells like, very specific on what that goal will be like when it's achieved, okay? Because if you just kind of like leave it loose out there, then you're not going to ever really achieve it, because it could be this like chasing a carrot. The goal's always moving. Does that make sense? So once you are very specific, then we'll know once it's achieved. And then moving on to letter M, measurable. You've got to make sure that that goal is measurable. So often I get people who say, my goal is to be healthier. I would like to be healthier. And that's a great goal. I love that goal, but it's not measurable. And so how do you know if you ever reach that goal if you can't measure it? So instead of saying, I want to be healthier, we could say, I want to have my labs all come in a healthy range. So like your cholesterol be in the healthy range, or your blood sugar levels be in what the doctors say is a healthy range. Or let's say, think about what being healthier is to you. What does that mean? What does healthier look like to you? I had one client say that they just want to have enough energy to make it through the day. If they were healthy, they would be able to make it through the day without needing a nap. And I was like, perfect, that's measurable. We can measure that. So we, say, okay, I want to be able to have enough energy to not need a nap through the day. And so if she could make it without needing a nap, then we knew that she was healthier. Or something that would get you to health. So it could be, I would like to eat more nutrients and make sure I'm getting enough nutrients. Well, awesome. We can actually measure that now, because we have this amazing Get Nutrition app that when you put in your foods, it tells you what nutrients you're getting, and then it can help you know if that's enough for you. And so we can measure that, have that be your goal, that you want to make sure that you have all your nutrients getting a letter grade of an A or a B. Okay, so measurable. Think about how your goal is going to be measurable and fill in that blank. And then moving on to letter A. We want to make sure that our goals are attainable. So everyone knows this. We want to make goals that are way up high, these pie in the sky goals. I personally think that attainable, when we say the goals need to be attainable, that's all in our head. There's a little story that I like to refer to when we're talking about this, that, the running community used to think that it was impossible for humans to run a 4-minute mile. There were people in the Olympics and all over that were really trying to break the 4-minute mile. And they had come to conclude that it was impossible. They thought if someone were to run that fast, a human being were to run that fast, their body would just disintegrate, they just thought it was not possible. Well, one day someone actually broke the 4-minute mile. They did it. They passed that 4-minute goal. And once they did, all of their successors and their competition started breaking that 4-minute mile as well. So what's attainable is very relative. So when we talk about what's attainable, we have to think about what your mind and your subconscious believes you can achieve. Okay, so it's kind of a sticky subject where you want to really go for big goals. We want to think big, right? And make these really lofty goals. This is kind of cool. My blinds are making light on me. I'm trying to hide from those light beams. But we want to pick a goal that our brain doesn't say, you can't do that. Because as soon as we make a goal that our subconscious thinks is impossible, then we kind of will self-sabotage and be like, well, I can't do it anyway. I might as well quit, or I might as well cheat here or cheat there. So let's think of, and through this program, you will learn ways to change your subconscious and rewire so that you believe in yourself more and can achieve more. But for this to start out, let's just choose a goal that is right in front of you, that is just a couple steps away. Because when we make a small goal, we can reach it. And then once we reach it, we've built confidence in ourselves. We've realized we can trust ourselves. And it's like a snowball effect. So then you have more confidence. So then you take the next goal step and you achieve that one, and it builds more confidence, and it keeps on going until all of a sudden you've reached that one that was that pie in the sky goal to begin with. So we want to choose something that is attainable to our current mindset. Okay, does that make sense? So I'm trying to think of an example here. If we wanted to, I'm going to use the lose weight goal because it's going to be my example that I don't want you to use. So then you can then apply it to what you're doing. But if you say, I want to lose 20 pounds, then your brain might say, you can't do that. Like, that's a lot of weight to lose. If you've been trying to lose that 20 pounds for 2 years or 10 years, whatever, then your brain shuts it down and then you give up. But let's say you just start with, this is a short program. Let's say in 2 weeks, I want to lose 2 pounds. And that is actually like a number that people, they've proved is a very healthy number to lose, a pound a week. So let's make that my goal. I'm going to lose 2 pounds. And so once you do that and you lose those 2 pounds, then you get motivated, you get excited. And so then you're able to keep going. And then it goes from there. Does that make sense? So attainable. You guys get the point. Okay, moving on to our relevant. We want to make sure that our goals are relevant. They need to be important to you. So you're going to write down why it's relevant to you, why it's important, what it will change in your life if you hit this goal. You can talk about, like we talked about, the specifics of what it will look like and taste and feel like. This is similar, but we want to say why that's good. Why, once you reach this goal, what will it change, and what is the importance of that, right? And besides just the importance to you, we also have to make sure it's something you can actually do. We don't want to make goals that are affected by other people. We want to make sure that it's not like, oh, I want to fight less with my sister. Well, can you really fight less with her if she's going to be the one starting the fight, or if she's going to come at you? Does that make sense? So instead of saying, I want to fight less with my sister, you can say, I want to react differently when things come up with my sister. Okay, so making sure that we have power over the outcome, that we have power to make those changes. Okay, so that is relevant. And okay, the last letter in our SMART goals is T for time. So we want to make sure we put a timeline on this. If you just say, I'm going to be healthier, then when are you going to be healthier? When is that going to happen, right? So we want to choose a goal that has an end point and to go for. So you're in this program. Your timeline for the goal we're choosing today is going to be by the end of the program, okay? So you're going to say, I'm going to lose, I keep on using that goal and I don't like it. It just is the first that comes to my head. But let's say I'm going to be drinking a gallon of water for the full 2 weeks, or I'm going to be an inch taller in 2 weeks. That one doesn't make sense, but you get what I'm saying. Make sure you put an end goal or end time on your goal, when it will be achieved. And then the point that's not obvious is we're going to put little timelines in between. So you can say, I'm going to, if your goal is to drink a gallon of water, be able to handle drinking a gallon of water by the end of the 2 weeks, then you can say, okay, well, I'm going to start with an extra glass for the first 2 days. So you drink an extra 8 ounces of water for 2 days. And then that's that timeline. And then I'm going to drink a half gallon by the 1 week mark. So does that make sense? So you're separating your goal into these little teeny baby steps. So that's what we're going to do for the time, for the T and the SMART goals. So that is our SMART goals. And I actually like to add one more R. So it would be like smarter goals. But I think it's very important to reward ourselves. So let's put another R on there. You can put, on your sheet, write the R up maybe in the top corner or something, but we're going to add a reward. How can you reward yourself when you reach this goal? The reason that's important is because so many times we just think we've got to work, and we don't get to celebrate ourselves. It is very important to make sure we celebrate ourselves. Yeah, some people might celebrate for you, but if you're looking for that outward approval and someone to say, hey, you look great, you look healthy, that's fun, but it's not as rewarding and it's not as healthy. So if we can really take the time and the expense or the, whatever it takes to celebrate ourselves, it's going to be much more lasting. You're going to be able to stick to those goals longer as well. So how are you going to reward yourself? Maybe, often we try to reward ourselves with something materialistic, like I'm going to buy a new outfit, or I'm going to go on a shopping spree, or it could be something as like big and fun as I'm going to go on this big trip, or I'm going to, I get to eat a chocolate cake after, whatever it is. It's usually giving ourselves something, and that works. You're very welcome to reward yourself with something materialistic and tangible. But then also it could be an experience. It could be like, I'm going to reward myself with the nicest, most luxurious bath that I've ever had, and just going to relish in that feeling of, I deserve all the pampering because I reached my goal. Okay, so really kind of spoiling ourselves and taking care of ourselves. And maybe it can be a facial, or for guys, it could be a really cool experience that you've been wanting to do for a long time. Want to go rent side-by-sides and do this specific trail, or whatever it is. Spend the money. Take the time, do it, reward yourself for reaching the goals. And when we do our one-on-one meetings over Zoom, or if you don't have one of those scheduled, if you want to reach out to me for any reward ideas to making sure they match, like, oh, the reward matches the goal, feel free to reach out. Let me help you through this. It's so hard because I do these classes and it's not specific. I don't know what your exact goals are. I don't know what direction you're wanting to go. So because I'm talking to the masses right now. So make sure you reach out to me. You have access to me. Let's talk about it. Let's work one-on-one and figure out what your goals should be and your rewards. Okay. So, okay. That being said, I want you guys to take the time, fill out your SMART goals sheet, and then make sure you turn it in. Remember, you can take a picture of this and submit it through the course. I am watching and I want to see that you guys are actually doing this. If you're embarrassed of your goal, don't be, because I've seen a million, I've seen them all. And that's being said with anything that you turn into me, don't be embarrassed or worry about what I think, because I've seen it all. But also just know that I'm not judging anything that it's coming through. Most of the time, I'm just looking at if you did it, if you took the time to do it. Okay, so all right, that being said, get to work and turn it in, and I will see you on the next topic. We'll close off the SMART goals and turn off the recording. Have a great day, you guys.